Well, good afternoon. I'm your last presenter for today, and I want to thank you, all you brave people that stayed to hear me. In my mind, you are the real cyber soldiers. So when I was waking up this morning, as I was reaching for my bag to take out my computer, because that's what normal people do when they wake up, they reach for their computer, I found out that I packed my sunglasses. Then I asked myself, what the hell did you think? You're going to Scandinavia, you're going to Finland, and then you're going to Sweden? Are you stupid, packing your sunglasses? So I may be stupid or I may be optimistic. And that's a question I leave with you, because cyber is a bit like this. You can be stupid and you can be optimistic. And since I'm the last one standing between you and the drinks, let's start. Okay, I hope I managed to wake you up now and get those people that are standing there to come over and join us for the presentation. My name is Shay Simkin. I'm Global Head of Cyber for Howden, and I do these things around different places around the world. So I'm very happy to be back here at Helsinki and join you this afternoon. So I think we've talked a lot about cyber risks and cyber-related risks today, but I think we haven't heard a lot about where we are going. And one of the things that strike me is when I do these things is that in 2020 there will be 50 billion devices connected to the internet. And with the things that we're talking about today, I think that they're going to intensify, and we're going to have a lot more risks facing us, and those risks are going to be all around us. So in the morning when we wake up in our home, our refrigerator will talk to our supermarket, and the supermarket will talk to the drone, and the drone will bring the eggs, and then we'll get into our driverless car, and then if we get sick, we'll go to the hospital, and there everything connected, and then we have the smart TVs, and this whole good stuff which makes our life really, really interesting and easy brings with it a lot of cyber-related risks. So I think most of you, because you deal in the cyber industry, understand that cyber is a big business now. I think the first speaker or the second speaker talk about lies and numbers and everything, but still it's a big business. It's much bigger than drug trafficking or any other crime. It's like $600 billion a year, and people are making a lot of money out of it, and it's lucrative. It's quite easy. To rob a bank today, you don't need a getaway car and a mask and a gun, and to sweat, you just need to sit somewhere in an air-conditioned room. These guys look like they're going to the office, and they go and rob the banks. So if you haven't been hacked, you will probably be hacked somehow. So I suggest that we start getting ready for those days. When I look at cyber risks, I try to simplify, because I'm not a technical guy as such. I try to simplify it for my clients and help them understand. So the simplest way for those people that are like me to understand it is that cyber risk, there are few ways that you can deal with it. A, you can accept the risk. For example, in my office and in Howden offices around the world, we encourage people to go and look in the internet before they go and meet clients. I want them to look in Facebook, I want them to look in LinkedIn, I want them to look in many places, so when they come to the meeting, they will be well prepared. So I accept the fact that maybe one of my employees is going to shop in the afternoon in a site that looks exactly like Alibaba, but it's maybe not Alibaba. So it's a risk I'm taking, and I'll try and do everything around it to explain to those people that when they're using it in their office, they're exposing us to risk. Again, I can avoid the risk, which means that I can, in a way, not allow our people in the office to bring disk on key. If they want to bring disk on key, they can use it at home, but they can't use it in the office. So I avoid this type of risk. And then what you guys mostly do if you're a CISO, if you're a risk manager in your organization, is mitigation. And you spend quite a lot of money on mitigation. Some organizations spend, I think JP Morgan spends over $1.5 billion on cybersecurity. They buy this and they buy that and they buy everything. And do you think they are totally secured? Well, it's an open question. I'm not sure, because they got hacked, and Cathay Pacific got hacked. As you saw, they spent over $1 billion Hong Kong dollars on cybersecurity. So I live in a different world. I live in a world where after you do the risk acceptance and the risk avoidance and the risk mitigation, there's always a risk transfer. Because that's what we live in. We want to transfer the risk to the insurance industry, and that's what the insurance industry is there for, so we can transfer the risk to them. If you don't remember anything from today, try and put this in front of you, because this is really, really important, and I show this to people that are not CISOs, but they are more board members, they are CEOs of companies, and I tell them, my dear friends, this is a risk matrix done every year by Allianz and Lloyd's. And I've been following this risk matrix for quite a long time. And as you can see, cyber-related risks are number 2 on the list. And business interruption or supply chain is number 1. And I regard cyber-related risks and business interruption to be almost the same one. So if you're a CEO, you're a board member, you're a CISO, or you're taking care of your risk in the organization, look at this risk matrix and say, well, why am I buying fire where it's number 6, or political risks, or climate changes where cyber and supply chain is the biggest risk facing my business? What am I doing about this? Am I going to deal with this in 2021, 2022? I don't have a budget. I budget this, and this, and this. Well, once you get hit, you know, and I'll show you later on. I think this is a good one, because NotPetya it was a game changer for us. Because I think that organizations worldwide that thought that they are protected and they spend a lot of money around cybersecurity all of a sudden woke up one day and realized that business interruption is a big issue. You know, I've been in this industry. I started doing cyber insurance 20 years ago. Well, we didn't call it cyber insurance, we called it internet liability. But we didn't imagine, we didn't foresee that this is going to be cause huge damages to businesses, that this is going to be so big that companies are going to really look at this issue as their biggest business issue. And I want to show you a short video of a very, very brave man. And this man, I regard him as a brave man because a lot of us, even if we go through one of these events, we try and keep it closed because we say, no, we don't want anybody to know, we don't want the media to know. I know that with GDPR and notification laws in the United States, it's going to be hard if you get hacked and some of your PII or PHI go out. But some organizations still keep it secret. And this brave man, the chairman of Maersk, comes out in Davos last year, and that's what he says.
We were hit by the non-patch virus. In fact, that meant that we were actually collateral damage of probably a state attack situation. The impact of that was that we basically found that we had to reinstall an entire infrastructure. We had to install 4,000 new servers, 45,000 new PCs, 2,500 applications, and that was done in a heroic effort over 10 days. Normally, I come from the IT industry, you would say that's going to take 6 months. It took 10 days, heroic effort, and I can only thank the employees and partners that we had on doing that. Now, imagine a company where a ship with 10 to 20,000 containers enter a port every 15 minutes, and for 10 days you have no IT. It's almost impossible to even imagine. And we actually overcome that problem with human resilience. People were able to overcome. We only had a 20% drop in volumes, so we managed 80% of that volume manually, basically. And customers, by the way, were great contributors to overcoming that. Maybe coming to the learning. This was a very significant wake-up call for an organization like A.P. Møller-Mærsk. We could say a very expensive one. It cost us between $250 to $300 million. And yet I argue that it was a very important wake-up call.
Yes, so it was quite an expensive wake-up call. It talks about 250, 300 million. Now it's over $550 million that it costed Maersk. And yes, Maersk is it's the largest shipping company. Since you're in the Nordics, you probably know Maersk. But come to think of it, you know, Maersk have a lot of clients. And imagine that client that his container got stuck in some port somewhere. He has a show in the United States where the container has to arrive to the United States. And that's the show that he sells all his products for the next coming year. And he loses this show because his container cannot be loaded on a boat because of a cyber attack. Is he going to use Maersk again? Or is he going to use another shipping company? So the brand issue is not just the quantification of the risk, saying 550 million, yeah, it's a big number. It's a number that they put on their list, so it's not something I invented. But the other risk coming out of it, and those people affected, can affect the brand, can affect the share price, can affect the company. I think Deborah said it before that doing cybersecurity, by the way, Maersk didn't have cyber insurance when they had this event. They just bought cyber insurance after this event, and it costed them a lot more money, and the only limit that they could buy was $250 million, which is quite low for them. So Deborah said about cybersecurity is a teamwork, and we need to be a team and team players in order to make sure that that we are on it. And on that team, you need the insurance people as well, okay? Because the insurance people, they're not just there to take the money and pay the premium, but it's a different type of policy. The cyber insurance policy is very different from those insurances that you buy for your property, casualty, because usually when we arrive to the scene or the insurance company comes into the scene, they come after the damage has been done. That means that the factory was burned, that there was a leakage, that somebody stole something. We come in as soon as the event happens. So what happens when there is an event, and we'll talk a little bit about events if we have time, because we're running out of time, or how we manage the event. But if you can see, the cyber policy is a three-part policy. It has third-party liability, which means that people suing you for data leakage, for corruption of data, for unavailability of data, all the GDPR issues that people are asking me around the world. Is the GDPR covered under the cyber policy? Yes, it's covered. All the extra costs and expenses, all the notification, forensic, legal, PR, everything is covered on that by the insurance company. The only thing we cannot cover is fines and penalties, because they are not insurable by law in Europe. For example, in the United States, we cover PCI fines, we cover HIPAA fines, and different fines, because they're insurable by law. But in any case, I was talking about that event, and when the event happened, we come in very, very soon when the event happens. So once you know it's not an IT issue and one server fell because you overloaded it or the balance didn't work, and it's a malware in the system, you call the incident response of the insurance company. That doesn't mean that we send an army of technical people to help you. Yeah, we could, okay? But most companies want to use their own ITs and they want to use their providers. We just act as the architects of the event. So in a case where there is a malware in the system, sometimes we would say to the client, you know what, take out those 150 computers, put them in a room, go out, buy new 150 computers, take people, take 100, 200 on weekend, on Christmas, we don't care, put them in a place and start rebuilding the system. Let them configure the system, because we understand that if you have a business interruption, this is a small money compared to the business interruption. We need to get you up and running. And this is very, very different from all types of insurances that you guys are buying. And now you're asking yourself, do these guys really pay claims? Are they serious about this? Yes, we do pay claims. And there are claims, and we deal with, I would dare say, tens and tens of claims around the world. We pay them with happy customers. We engage with those customers. We try to help them. So I'll just give you a small example before we run out of time. I get a call a few weeks ago, 7 o'clock Friday evening. 7 o'clock Friday evening. I'm Jewish, I live in Israel, it's Sabbath. That means that everything is closed. It's not. And this guy calls me up. I know him as a very, very famous lawyer in Israel. It's a second-generation law office, probably one of the 3 top boutique law offices in Israel. And he says to me, look, somebody encrypted my data. They're asking me to pay 2 Bitcoins. So I said, well, 2 Bitcoins, that's nothing. You guys make so much money. Go out and pay $16,000. It's nothing. You want to get your business back? But before you pay, let's check what happened with your backups. Have you checked your backups? Can you reach your backups? If you cannot reach your backups, or if they're with malware, or if somebody encrypted the way to your backups, go out and pay. He says, no, I want to pay. I want to pay 100, 200, 300. My business is worth a lot more than 2 Bitcoins. It's worth millions. Millions for me, for my family, for my clients, for everyone. But the problem is, where do I buy on Sabbath? Where do I buy 2 Bitcoins? Is there a bank I could go out and buy it from? Is there anything? Can you help me? Yes, we did help them. We got 2 of our smart guys that we work with. They negotiated with the, we paid, and come Sunday, he calls me up and says, this is not insurance. This is an experience I've never had in my life. You basically saved my business. That's the feeling I had. So I'm out of time, and I want to encourage you to come and speak to us and take this as a part of your risk management. And thank you for inviting me.